There is some biological uniqueness from patient to patient or person to person, but we're still the same species. Remember that, let's say meat, for instance. Meat does have a lot of negative attributes to our diet, right? Especially the way it's raised today. It's hormone-induced, right? We know all this, the unfortunate events of factory farming. But remember, 200 years ago, people didn't roll out of bed and get a, bacon, egg, cheese muffin, and then roll to a roast beef sandwich, and then roll to pork chops and, applesauce for dinner. It just didn't happen way back then. So hunting, gathering, and, I know the paleo thing is a big deal, but I mean, the bottom line is tigers aren't even successful on every hunt. So to think we humans are even more evolved at hunting than tigers is just unrealistic. So it was few and far between is my point. And people just didn't saturate their diet with meat and eggs and cheese and milk, every day like we do today. I mean, that's really our diet is based on pretty much factory animal parts and refined carbohydrate.
Equals death.
Equals chronic progressive disease, yeah. But we're so resilient that you would think that would kill you in a weekend, but it doesn't. We're so strong, our immune system is working every second of every day that it still takes decades to kill you, right? Which is the upside when you're doing more of a healing environment, because healing happens a lot faster.
I know you're not a huge meat advocate, but you want to eat meat that was raised how nature intended it to raise, if you're going to eat meat, right?
Yeah, there's a component to that. Actually, what we see in some of the nutritional sciences, game meats are probably healthier for you because they have some omega fatty acids and things like that. But remember, if we're just going to substitute standard factory farm breakfast, lunch, and dinner meats, and now I got organically raised cows and chickens who listen to classical music, and we're going to eat those breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we're still going to find the same problem, and that's what we find. So it's what I call the filtered cigarette argument, right? Somehow putting a filter between you and the tobacco somehow made them healthier. It doesn't. But ideally, if you ate them once in a while, say, right? So a rule of thumb we use with patients who aren't advanced disease is maybe 1 or 2 servings per week. It's probably going to be okay. And cleaner, the better.
And then also, like the whole food, plant-based diets, you could eat all vegetables, but if they're heavily laden with pesticides, that's going to disrupt your system.
It's difficult, but that's why we try to push organic, or even if they're not certified organic. Remember, we got a lot of local growers all over the United States, so our local guys may not be able to afford the organic certification, but they use organic farming methods. And so, once again, you want to try to eat locally anyway, right? Because it's kind of symbiotic with your environment. You live in that area, it's a good idea to eat the foods that are grown in that area.